I've been asked a few times about how I pitch things, and I thought I would kind of go into it. Mostly I pitch things by way of how I was taught. So if we take a look at this here, this starting chord, this is kind of a 1-3-5 chord. So C, I'm going to use my little stylus here to point it out. So if we think about this, G, E, C, all of those together make kind of a stacked arpeggio. Da, da, da. So I would go and get a pitch. Hold on. Okay, I got my pitch. It was da, G. Normally this, I would go G, E, C. This is also C. This is how I would pitch this chord that has like a C, an E, and a G here. In this case, da, 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 this is the actual pitch that the tenors start on, but the basses would be an octave lower than that. Let me find another example. Now in the same piece, I moved down to just a different spot, and if we started a hymn on all of these notes here, so before we had a chord that was G, E, C. This is A, F, C, F. So kind of this chord is a form of F major. It happens to be either a first or second inversion, but I would pitch starting with a C, the tenor C, which, don't mind me real here. So that's tenor, soprano, alto, bass, right? Da, da, da. Always, if the chords are stacked, if the notes are stacked like this, where the basses are on an F, tenors on a C, alto on an F, soprano on an A, I will always pitch C, A, F. So it would be this C, A, F. That is how I would pitch this. So knowing what the starting note looks like will kind of dictate. Now I'm going to go find another chord. All right, here we have the apostica. This is a staccato tone. This is tone 4. And if you take a look here, it has a similar kind of like shape to it, right? It looks kind of like when we had sopranos on an A, alto and bass were on an F, and then tenor was on a C. This is just shifted down a third. And I would pitch this the same way, that same order of pitches, which if you want to go solfege, that was so, mi, do. I'm also going to pitch so, mi, do here, but it's lower. This is a D major chord. I grab that A pitch first. Da. So that's so, mi, do, tenor, soprano, alto, bass. That's how I would pitch that chord. In the same piece, if we were going to start, let's say the first pitch was this chord, right? We're still in this, if you look at the key signature, there's still 1 sharp. But if we were going to start with this, like this is the start of the Kievan melody, right? This is still a chord, right? This is still actually a major chord. The last 2 chords I've given you were major chords. This is also still a major chord, but this is a second inversion, like on a music theory side of things. But I would pitch this one. Da, that's a G, da, 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 da. I don't know why that, but that's how I learned it. And so when it looks like this, where you have the root of the chord, da, this is a G major scale, da, so it would be da, da, da. That's not how I would pitch it. I would be da, da, tenor, soprano, alto, bass, and soprano. That's just how this particular chord format. This is a second inversion major chord. I would do da 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 versus this chord here, which is a first inversion. And if you want to find out why that is, we can talk a little bit more music theory. This is a first inversion major chord. This is a D major. The root is a D. Da. It would be A, F sharp, D, do, do, mi, so, mi, do is the pitch, right? Do, mi, do, so, do. That's what that pitch is. Let's see, any others that I can pitch from here. I'm going to find you another example. All right, in this piece, see if you recognize this chord. This is, actually now I'm second guessing myself. I think Caleb might correct which inversion, but an inversion means it's like you take the chord and you kind of flip the parts around. It's the same notes, just in a different order. So this is a D major chord like we've known. I would pitch us with, oops. Da, 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 so, mi, do. But if I came here, this looks like the start of Staccato tone 6. This is a minor chord. Da, 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 and it's an inverted minor chord, which means the notes are out of order. So do, do, mi, do, or do, whatever the minor of mi is, do, so, do. Kind of sounds like the Kievan as far as the type of chord. It's inverted the same way that the Kievan, da, 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 but it's minor. Da, 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 so do, do, mi minor, do, so, do. That's how I'd pitch that one. In this case, it's a minor chord. I'll find you another. Here we have Kievan tone 1. Do you recognize this chord? You should, because it's a D major chord. We know this because D, F sharp, and A, they make up a 1-3-5, a do, mi, so type of chord. So this is do, mi, so, do. But I would pitch da, da, da. That's your actual pitch, but the bass is singing an octave lower than that, which I can't reach. And now another example. Here we have a second inversion major chord. This is the start of tone 1. This is the same shape of chord or same inversion as when we sing the Kievan Lord of Mercy. So Lord have mercy, that's the Kievan Lord of Mercy. This starts with the same inversion of the chord, but it starts on a different note. So it's an F major chord, but it's a second inversion. So do, do, mi, do, so, do. So this C is the same as da, 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 right? So rather than being at the top of that arpeggio, it's at the bottom or something. So I pitch da, 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 F, A, F, C, F. And I don't know if you recognize this chord. This is also an F major chord, but it's a first inversion rather than a second inversion. So in this case, I would pitch da, 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 C, A, F, so, mi, do. And then you would just translate it down to your, as a tenor, da, 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 right? we'll move on to a trickier pitch. Here we have our tone 2 troparia. Sorry for the sudden jump into this. This chord here is a C major chord, but the kind of the key right over here when we talk about, so this is the key, right? This, if it's a major, this is F major. This is an F major chord here, but I have to pitch you with a C major to start. So with this, da 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 da, do so mi do, do. That's how it would pitch us. But sometimes tone 2 starts with this F major chord. Da da da, so mi do, so. No note here, but that's what sopranos sing, do. So, da 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 da, but sometimes I just do da da da. But here I would be singing da 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 da, typically, starting at tone 2, troparia. Now I'm going to move on to tone 3. That one is a little tricky. So we've been mostly doing, with the exception of that one minor chord, we've been talking about major chords. Now we're going to move on to a hymn that starts with minor. Here is a hymn that starts with a minor chord. So if you look at the key signature, it has one F sharp. So that is either a G major chord or an E minor. If we look here, if I played this out, these notes here, I'll show you what that looked like on the piano. It would be, let me think about that. That sounds minor, right? Because it is. It's starting in a minor key. What I usually do, and I know this is very confusing, I give myself a G and I say da 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 da, because we do eventually get into like a major mode, like vibe of the music. The rest of it sounds major, but we start minor. So I start with a G, da da da, then I find this E, B, E. So how would I describe that? Da da. So I don't know how to use solfege for minor chords, but if this was just a minor piece, then this would be like E minor. Do, flat mi, do, so, do. That's how I would pitch it. Kind of the root of the chord is usually the last note, because I want the root of the chord to have a solid pitch. Da 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 is how I would pitch that. And how would you know? You would just have to recognize this chord structure, recognize whether it's minor or major, and if you hear that it's minor and you see that it's an inversion of a chord, da 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 da, you just kind of learn that part. Sometimes tone 3 starts on this chord, this G major chord, which has the same scale as an E minor. Da 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 da. That's G major. Da 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 da. That's E minor. Same white and black notes on the piano, just you start in a different place and therefore it becomes a different type of chord. I'm going to go into some Lenten things because that's different pitching and there's a lot of minor pitching there. So this is a second inversion of E minor, that chord there. So here is a Lenten piece that we practiced today. It's minor, as many of our Lenten pieces are. This is an E minor first inversion. So, when we were looking at that tone 3, you'll just have to kind of click back if you want to look at it. But let me get the right pitch. I would give myself a G to start. Da, 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 da. I have an easier time finding my minor if I can do it in that formulation. Not that I can't, I'm just used to that. So this is a first inversion E minor chord. Da, 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 da. Essentially, I'm saying so minor mi do when I'm pitching it. You're so. See how far apart those are? They're a fifth apart. So you know you're the so of the chord typically. Do, the E is the do, E is the do, minor note here, da da da. That's how I would pitch that one. If we look down here, the amen, same start as that tone 3, da 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 da. Do mi, do so do. In this case, you're on do mi flat, mi, like do mi so, do mi flat. Your G is not flat, but do mi minor, it's minor. So it's a minor third. Da 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 da. But this chord right here, da 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 da. That's how I'd pitch that one there. I'm gonna find another Lenten one that has a seventh in it. All right, here's a really common minor chord that we sing during Lent. This is actually a major chord. This is a major chord with a seventh, so it sounds minor. So I would start with this note, do, do, mi, so. Da, 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 do, mi, so, ti. Well, but it's a minor seventh, I think. Da, 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 da. So a major seventh would be da, 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 da. But this is a minor seventh. Da, 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 da. I'll play that out for you. Once I shift this a little bit. So the pitch that I give is it's a minor seventh. So in this case, you have the bass and the tenor both on C. Da, da, do, do. Nobody's on mi, but we need it to get the note. The altos are on so. T flat or T minor, which is B flat. Da, 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 da. That's how I would pitch this particular one. But also in here we have quite a number of different things. We've got like our pre-sanctified little litanies. All right. I'm recording, be quiet. So we have two examples of the litanies here. This is the one I just pitched you for before. Da 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 da. That minor seventh of a major chord. C, major minor seven or something. Ask Caleb. And then we have this chord. Da. I start with a G. Da da da. Or gotta get my note. This is a G minor chord. Da 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 da. Ending on the G because it's the root. Da da da. Because you're that fifth apart from them. It's the so mi do type of layout of the pitching. I hope that helps. If you see another one that you have questions about, let me know.